Hey guys, it's Michael. So I'm gonna probably skip ahead on some of the 30 minutes character per day challenge, all that stuff. I'm gonna go out of order. I'm gonna go with day 8. I think I left off on day 4. I'm gonna jump up to day 8. It's gonna be Beastman. And I'm gonna go ahead and try to catch up with some other stuff. Doing that because Beastman, I don't know. Kind of want to go away from like the cartoony stuff a little bit. I know I don't really have to conform to the other people's styles or whatever, or the character styles, but we'll see what happens. So Beastman today. Okay, wait for you. Off to the side. Again, same thing. We're gonna be doing drawing on a backboard for a comics cover. X-Men 236. Chris Claremont, Mark Silvestri. Awesome team up. Uncanny X-Men. If any of you have never read Uncanny X-Men back in the days, in the 80s, whether it's Silvestri or whether it's like John Romita Jr., Paul Smith, earlier than that, John Byrne, you have like some once in a while cameos by like some really big artists or whatever, like Barry Windsor Smith drew some Uncanny X-Men back in the day. Yeah, Mark Silvestri, Jim Lee, of course, early Jim Lee, Uncanny X-Men. Great stuff. Probably some of my favorite stuff of his. He's still pretty good. He's all right. No, he's still pretty good. But whatever. I just wasted 2 minutes. So let's get going. Beastman from Masters of the Universe. I think you recognize him, that orange dude with a whip. So he also had a loincloth, but then again, what He-Man characters did not have loincloths. Alright, let's see what I can come up with. How do I want to do it? Alright, I don't really know. We'll see what happens. And sorry for my squeaky chair. I'm going to go ahead and try to get a different chair one of these days. That way I can do my ASMR channel. Or maybe not, I'm not sure. Let's see. Beastman. What would be... I am looking at reference as far as how Beastman looks. So I can kind of get the facial features and the movement and all that stuff down. I'm not going to be copying or reference. I'm just going to use it for reference to see how his face looks, his body type, all that stuff. Not really too familiar with it, although I do like loincloths. Doesn't mean I know every character that wears loincloths, the way they look. Just some inside information if you guys want to send me a birthday present. Alright, here we go. Beastman character. Let's go with something animalistic. So just right now I'm just gonna try to play around and see if I can get a somewhat newer, I don't know, a newer look as far as like the way I draw. I usually default to a lot of familiar poses. I think like what I'm doing right now, geez. I don't know, my favorite characters are always like superheroes that seem to have really bad posture. you know, hypermobility and um, you know, more animalistic. Probably from my other streams or my other streams, my other videos. You know, it'd be like Wolverine, like one of my favorites. And that is exactly how I draw everything else. So I'm gonna go ahead and maybe not make this a full shot. I know he's a muscle bound dude. He's got a lot of hair. It's gonna probably work to my advantage in finishing up the character, hopefully. Do not do that. Let's see if I can't just more or less do like a stream of consciousness. Usually when that happens, things turn out okay, but not with a 30-minute time period. Usually whenever I get like a stream of consciousness going, I make plenty of mistakes, and usually takes me about a day or two, sometimes like a week, to see the mistakes. Yeah, it takes me a while to draw. If I'm trying to like draw something good, I start getting way too precious about it, which is not really conducive to if I ever want to get into comic books. Unless I'm like doing an annual or something like that, which is, yeah, good luck with that happening. But I don't know. I mean, some of the annuals, speaking of annuals and Uncanny X-Men and everything like that, you know, there's some artists that are, you know, they're fast and they can, you know, always keep up with that schedule. I think what was like Mark Silvestri was Uncanny X-Men. He was like doing, I think like during the summertime or something like that, they would say, you know, oh, now on sale twice a month. So that means Mark Silvestri would be like drawing 2 books, like $2 per month, which is a crazy amount of work. I mean, you could totally tell the difference as far as like, you know, if he was doing things, you know, really fast or not, but still, it was really cool because you have like that similar voice, you know, that the the familiar voice, I should say, of that artist. You know, working on a book. Like one of the things that used to drive me crazy, especially on Uncanny X-Men, or any comic really, but Uncanny X-Men more so, was, you know, you were like building up to a really big issue, and you're like, oh my gosh, you know, just can't wait for this issue to happen when these two awesome characters, one villain, one hero, is about to, you know, fight or something like that, or something was about to happen. Then all of a sudden, like uh, on that special issue, what happens? They switch artists. I would get so pissed off. At Back in those days, um, you know, I did not care for. Which I look back now and I'm like, oh my gosh, why didn't you care for this guy? I did not care for the transition from like Mark Silvestri to, let's say, a Rick Leonardi, and because again, it's that familiar voice. You kind of get uh, trapped into that familiar voice, um, and I think it was more or less the shock of that. You no longer have that voice, you know, telling that story arc. that kind of like threw me off. And of course, I was like a kid in the 80s. I wasn't, what was I was like before double digits or something like that. I think I was like around 8, 9 or something like that. So I didn't really understand. I was like, what is going on? Why is this happening to me? Curse you, all that kind of stuff. But now you go back and you look at some of those issues that Rick Leonardi, did. If you want to talk about a guy that could pose the figure and not necessarily pose the figure, just posing the figure, but like dynamically, like force perspective, you know, like great big, like how superheroes, you would think superheroes would look like. Of course, that's, up to debate on how a superhero should look like and this and that, blah, 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 blah. But there should have been no reason as to why I was like pissed off. Like, oh my gosh, Rick Leonardi, blah, 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 blah. He is actually a really great artist. And if you want to talk about action, if you want to talk about posing, he definitely has that. And if you look at early Jim Lee stuff, you can kind of see. Uh, I don't know. I mean, like, yeah, he likes John Byrne and stuff like that, but you can see like the posing of Arthur Adams in early Jim Lee work, and sometimes, possibly Rick Leonardi, I see it, once in a while, he's probably like learned stuff from, from all the guys that we know, like whether it be like John Buscema or again John Burns or, um, like Arthur Adams, whatever. It's just, it's, I don't know. It's just good stuff. But I don't know. Back to my point. Just you know, uh, what was my point? The whole point was the annual. There we go. Speaking of Arthur Adams, bringing it sort of full circle without any hesitation. But yeah, Arthur Adams, hyper detailed work, poses a figure wonderfully. Maybe he might not be the fastest, artist or whatever, but he really does a good job. And he was like one of the artists as well as that got me into, um, comics and really liking the X-Men and everything was because, he was drawing the covers, I think, of classic X-Men at the time. And then he would also draw the interior cover of classic X-Men. And so, like, my introduction to the X-Men was Mark Silvestri and the Uncanny X-Men. And when I was reading the classic X-Men, of course, you had John Byrne a little bit later on after Dave Cockrum left. But I, I had, yeah, I was pretty much spoiled from the get-go. And that's how I kind of fell into the artists. These were like the first artists that I saw were, in comics was Arthur Adams, Mark Silvestri, John Byrne, Dave Cockrum. Of course, you had the ones that I couldn't stand at the time again, Rick Leonardi. And then from there, after Mark Silvestri, Jim Lee. Yeah. So, but Arthur Adams, if I could get to that level and only do annuals, oh dude, I would be so happy. I would be so happy if that was the case. That'd be so cool. Of course, it would like matter like what I want to draw or like what characters I'm supposed to draw and stuff like that. But his annuals were fantastic. Like the New Mutants annual that went in with the Asgardian Storm annual. I think what was that, number 9, number 6? I can't X-Men annual number 9 or 6 or something like that. It was so good. That would actually probably be a cool gig. It's just to be that annual guy, because I would look forward to it, and I would be devastated if I just like, oh man, he's not doing an annual, blah 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 blah. Because those were my favorite superheroes, were the Uncanny X-Men, and no one did them better than the artists that were that were on it at the time. I don't think, you know, you could have like, I don't want to start comparing people now because everybody has their own style, and everybody brings their own flavor, you know. But at that time, you know, those guys were like the bee's knees for me. Um, of course, like nowadays, I shouldn't say nowadays, but you have like the newer guns, or the newer blood, I should say, that I kind of liked was Joe Mad, even though I didn't really like anime. You know, he had that anime flavor to it, but you know, he eventually grew on me a little bit, and then Chris Bachalo. Oh, that guy is fantastic. Um, you know, Chris Bachalo is like one of those guys that's kind of like Mark Silvestri, not so much in style, but in the way, and Jim Lee, not so much in style, but more or less the attention to detail and the backgrounds, and how they actually convey and tell the story. How is it supposed to look? What's his face look like? He's got a beard. What? And okay. What was I saying? Chris Picciolo. Yeah. As far as detail in the environment. Not only that, but you can actually just straight up see the joy that he has um, when when he's drawn. I mean, he has like so many elements that might not pertain to the story, you know, that are in there. That's in there. Yeah, I mean, if you want to check out his work, yeah, check out his work. I think he did Generation X. His early stuff was like Generation X. Then he like started doing some X Men, Uncanny X Men. You know, it is. I mean, great stuff. The stuff that he started to do is great stuff. And then he started doing Spider Man. I really like his Spider Man. He's really good. But yeah, he doesn't cheat. You know, he always adds more to what you're expecting. You know, and then you also check out some of his other works. You know, what was it? Steampunk. Dude, forget about it. Steampunk with, I don't know who this inker was. I want to say either Richard Friend or Tim Townsend. I want to say Friend. Um, but yeah, oh, good stuff. So good. So good. But yeah, he would just, storytelling wise, fantastic. Um, and you know, just like the way that he draws, it's fun. You know, again, it's a very big departure from, to me, it's a big departure from like a Jim Lee or Silvestri or Arthur Adams. You know, he makes, it might be closer to Arthur. I can't say that too because he is more loose. His style is more. I'm not going to say loose. It's more malleable. The figure work that he has is more malleable. They're not so. There's a structure to them, but you know they're not super rigid. You definitely have a cartoon type believability to them. Put that leg up. Okay, 19 minutes. Is this guy supposed to be like part baboon or something? The heck? Alright, I don't really know. What is this? really think about that whip like you shoulda. Alright, whatever. Warm-up sketch. Let's see here. Now, what about you guys? I mean, did you guys used to, like, what are some of the comics that you kind of, I mean, I might be a little bit older than some. I might be a little younger than some, who knows? But, um, what did you guys used to read? What did you look forward to? What were some of your pet peeves about certain comics that you had going on? Oh my gosh, is this doing the Daredevil thing? Ben Affleck Daredevil. That's something. Alright. Yeah, right. Okay, so I guess I got 9 minutes to try to ink this. This is gonna be flippin' awesome. And don't ask me why, but this isn't really covering his shoulder. Not even like on the toy. So I don't know what that's all about. Not into armoring myself with spikes, so I don't know how that works. Okay, so really easy down. I guess I'm not putting in the loincloth, even though I want some. No. Let's further all down. All right. Here we go. Have it coming this way, I guess. Bold lines much? Much too much. Yeah, I was gonna try to do, was it like that tissue technique that Jim Lee likes to do on his streams and stuff, but I totally forgot that I was gonna do that. So here we go. Here we are. Yeah. No, I think this guy would be kind of cool to draw. Maybe. I'm not sure. There's the way. Oh, that's I don't know. I think there was at one time before the TV show, I think that before the first one, I think there was a comic book on this guy, or not this guy, but like the universe, like the universe of Eternia and stuff. So I'm not too sure how much the comic book influence besides the looks of the character, back in the day. if it actually had that much influence on the cartoon at all. Um, um, Actually, this fur was supposed to be going the other direction. Way to go, guy. Way to go. Yeah, so if you're wondering, what am I using for reference and stuff like that, and why I'm not really even following it, um, there's a maquette. There's like a statue or a toy or something of Beastman where his leg is up and he's looking directly at you, and one arm is down, and he's holding his whip that's kind of coiled up. That's kind of what I'm using as far as looks wise, but again, I'm not really even paying too much attention to it. I'm just kind of going with the flow. And that flow sometimes takes me in the wrong direction. So, yeah, hair is not my forte. Um, so one of these days, I'm gonna have to. I mean, it should be sooner than later because I'm not getting any younger. Um, One of these days, I'm gonna have to really try to tackle a lot of weak points. I think like hair would be one of them. Hands, like more expressive hands, not going to default closed fists all the time. Um, you know, I would say posing. Posing and going again, sort of like the hands is way too default. You know, same poses constantly. Um, which yeah, you get better at certain poses and everything like that, but then you just get bored because you're like, oh yeah, I'm doing the same thing over again, and no matter how well it gets or how good it gets and how good you get at it, you still want to challenge yourself. You still want to be able to grow as an artist, or not be a one-trick pony. Some people like being one-trick ponies. I do not. It's boring. So, um, yeah. And yeah, might be going. I'm definitely going to be going over on this one yet again. Surprise, surprise, people. Um, let's see. Yeah, I think I just might just do everything with this brush pen. Even though I just freaking screwed up that hand. Hello, guy. I'll do a quick little change of angle. Whoa, that is not right. Whatever you do, just don't look at the top and the bottom, and then you'll be okay. I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. So, does he have eyebrows? Not too sure. That is very blurry. I'll put in a brow ridge, regardless. Okay. Yeah, so speaking of Jim Lee, I think I mentioned that he does the stream. Um, it's amazing, like, what he can do. Uh, you know, in 30 minutes, in such a short amount of time, what he can see, and you know, what he can bring forth to a picture. And there's so many great artists that can do that out there. I mean, there's a lot of artists, but there's, you know, him in particular I've been watching, and it's, you know, definitely inspiring, um, you know, to really check it out. And of course, you know, you can't say, oh, how come he can do it, I can't do it. Well, I mean, this guy's been doing it for, I don't know, what, 203 years or something like that. Just joking, but like a while. And and yeah, I mean, you practice, and people say that, you know, oh yeah, you know, he does the same stuff over and over and over again. To a point, yes, but to a point, a whole heck of a lot, no. You know, you just did someone's like pretty much like a homage cover, right, to his own cover, issue number, Batman issue number 608. But if you look at the cover, you look at what he just did. I think he just did something for a what is it, like a convention that's going to be in Italy or something. Um, but yeah, you look at the redo of his 608 homage or something. It's so much better, in my opinion, simply because he's added nuances to his photo, you know, his illustrations. Um, so it's, you know, he's doing monthly books, and of course that if you're doing monthly books, you have to sometimes take shortcuts and whatever. But it's still evident that he's, you know, trying to improve. He still loves to draw and everything, and you know, it's like he's inking himself. You know, is starting to, you know, do inks himself, and you can kind of hear it in his words, and you kind of hear it um, in his voice, I guess, that he just really kind of wants to, you know, try to do like different things, meaning not necessarily different things as far as like what his job, but more or less like his artistic styles. You know, once in a while, he wants to try to ink himself in his own book. He wants to make it maybe not so clean, you know, have the Scott Williams awesome inking over it. You know, maybe he wants to dirty it up some, you know, with the tissue paper method that I was going to try to do. Um, but yeah, it's just whatever. And that's inspiring as far as too late now. Ruined. Um, ugh. Yeah. Okay. It's a warm up. Inspiring and disheartening at the same time. Uh, but, but no, it's pretty cool. You know, that he shares, and that he kind of lets everybody know that, you know, just because your stuff doesn't look great and doesn't come effortlessly right now, it could definitely happen. Just whatever, stick to it. I guess stick to it, grow. Don't think, you know, don't settle as far as like, oh yeah, I'm the best and that's it and blah 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 blah. I don't need to worry about anything. You know, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. And 35 minutes, and don't know where I really want to go with any of it. So this is a fantastic warm-up to trial and error, I guess. Let's see what we can do. Let's play around. Block in some shapes. Maybe that kind of saves it a little bit. Who knows? Probably not. A little bit of the arm, leg sticks out. Okay, it's coming down this way. I don't know if Beastman has hair, but you would think a name like Beastman should have hair. Okay, there's that. Cut into that. Oh my god. I think I might stop it. That way you guys don't need to freaking continue watching this freaking train wreck. $37. Yeah, I'll stop it in about like 2 minutes. Mike Emirates. Oh. Probably be hearing me say that quite a bit throughout these challenges. That guy. It's a 30-minute warm-up to shatter your confidence before going into anything else. Thanks, man. This is practice, right? So go ahead and practice it up. Fail. Learn from it. Try again. But don't go back to your comfort zone like I was trying to do with this crap. Always go back in with whiteout. try to flesh out those that hair a little bit more, I guess. So we'll see. So I'm going to end it right here. It's 40 minutes, 10 minutes over for this. I'll be back next time, probably tomorrow or something like that, and then hopefully I have a better one. All right. So guys, thanks for stopping by. I'll probably be trying to start streaming here pretty soon. It'll be a lot slower, a lot slower as far as developing the actual structure of the character and pose and all that kind of stuff. You'll see me erase quite a bit in order to get that. But excuse me. But that's it for today. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Yeah, man. Comment, whatever, thumbs up, whatever's clever. I'll let you guys know if I start streaming. If you're interested in that, I'll probably make a longer video. Not necessarily a longer video. I'll probably have a video just showing the normal process that I usually kind of go through. Again, the extra time that it takes me to try to get the anatomy right, to think about inking, to think about what I really want to do with the piece. All right, so everyone have a good night, and I will see you guys later. Bye.